Hey guys, Matt, IronTrap Garage, and today we're going to be working on the Sweetheart Roadster. We've been making some good progress already this fall and winter. As if you guys haven't noticed, I'm giving this car a little more focus because I can sort of see some light at the end of the tunnel. So last project on this was doing the dual antennas, the customized antennas on the rear quarter panel. Huge thing I've been wanting to do. That is one of those, as I call, fun projects on a car that helps you kind of, when you start getting stuck on a car, move along. I talk about the small victories. The other thing is doing the fun projects. So I had been doing a lot of really tedious, boring work of gaps and getting the doors to open and shut and latch better. I did that. It kind of got me excited again, and I can move on to something that's maybe a little more tedious, but is definitely even more important. So the back half of this car I haven't done a lot with getting gaps set, getting the trunk lid to even open and shut. So what I've done off camera is I basically took this deck lid that we got from another car that we, a project that we kind of put together and sold on. I kept the deck lid. So it's a louvered deck lid with a reproduction inner structure, and it was not drilled for hinges at all or brackets. So I drilled it to set it up for a trunk arrangement, not a rumble lid. I think it was actually originally louvered to be like a rumble lid, but we're going to be going the trunk direction. So I put the pins in, got that all sitting in there correctly. It opens and shuts now, but it is tight for gaps, but we're going to skip past that for right now because we need to get this thing to latch. So with it being a custom rod type setup, I wanted to, one big thing is no handles on the car. So didn't want door handles on the Roadster doors. I do not want a handle for the trunk lid latch. So what do we need to do to get around that? So I kind of started looking and thinking for the past few weeks about how I would accomplish that using old parts or parts that were, used back in the day or could have been used back in the day. So one thing that kind of dawned on me and got me thinking is a lot of hot rods from the 50s, 60s, 70s, you started seeing the use of foreign car parts quite a bit. So you started seeing the use of British car parts, Volkswagens, German car parts, Volkswagen, Audi, Porsche, that kind of stuff. Started kind of, guys were basically going to the junkyards and they were finding like an old Beetle in the junkyard and they were like, man, that looks like that would work out pretty well. So you saw in the little books and some of the old magazines, steering boxes and steering box brackets and stuff off early Type 1 or Type 2 Volkswagen buses. You started seeing some latches and handles and things from Volkswagens and Porsches, and then also on like British cars, you started seeing like gas cap lids that were on the outside that were pretty trick, and windshield posts and things like that being used for like a Duval's type windshield or Halleck type windshield. So start thinking about that, and one thing I think is really simple and I've seen it on a lot of customs over the years. They would use the hood latches from either a Volkswagen Beetle or an early water-cooled Volkswagen. You guys may or may not know that is my background from my teens into my 20s and even maybe early 30s. I was messing with German cars a lot, and that was kind of what I did before I jumped headfirst into only doing the cars we work on now. And I started thinking about Beetle hood latches or trunk latches are very simple. So I started looking online. They're very cheap. They are simple, and you can get them anywhere. So reproductions are all over the place. So that's huge because if we cut it up and don't like it, it's easy to use. So this is what we have here. We have Volkswagen Beetle latches here, reproduction of course, and we have a really, really simple design. They just have a pin that is spring loaded with a collar, and when you push it down through this latch here, basically it latches in, and it is very, very sturdy, especially for, now it of course has the safety latch on it for the original application. Won't be using that for the trunk. We don't really need it. And then what happens is when you pull that, the spring loaded portion, it pops up. So this will be perfect for the trunk on this, because when we have an inside pull in the car and we pull the handle, because this is spring loaded, if everything's gapped correctly and sitting nicely, it should pop the trunk open just enough that you can grab on one of the louvers or grab on the lid and pick it up. So what I need to do is build a structure to hold this latch. We're kind of going a little backwards to what you would think. So we're going to be mounting this, the female part, down in here, and then I'm going to take just this stud, the male portion, and use that, or maybe a piece of this bracket, and we're going to get that on the trunk lid. So I've already got a pattern made up here that we can fit in. So I'm going to fit this back in. I've left it long. Basically what I have is it's a cardboard pattern that fits across the width. It has a little lip here that's gonna go actually towards the inside, just for strength. I've left this area long. This is at like a 45, because there's an area here where the original, this inner structure for the latch, slam panel as you will call it, would have mounted. So I left this long because we don't know what height this needs to be at. So I'm gonna leave that long and then we'll trim it once we figure it out. I'm gonna have to be doing some climbing in the trunk, take the seat out to see exactly what's going on. So we could fit this piece in here, and I'll get this set in. And we're gonna try and tie it into the trunk gutters on the car. So get this set in, just mocked up so you guys can kind of see what's going on here. All right, so this is the panel kind of just shoved in there for now. As I said, this lip here is way too long because I didn't know how high it needs to be, and eventually I want this lip to sit on the inside and we can fasten it with some fasteners or spot welds in there. So I left that long for the time being. So this latch here, I made this flat surface just a little bit wider than this, and the idea is that this will be able to bolt into the car here like this, and then our pin will come down off the trunk lid and hit that and latch, and then we can run a cable down underneath of this piece I'm gonna make up into the car, and then we'll have some kind of handle up in the front there. I think I've already pulled a couple of needled trunk latch handles here, or kits that I've had kicking around, so we'll use one of them and make it work. So I'm gonna trim up this piece a little bit more and try and lay in the car and see what angle it needs to sit at, and then we will make a blank out of metal and get these bends going, and then we can really start getting this figured out. All right, so it is Monday. I was working on this on Sunday, and Steve's here to help me, now that I got closer, get this latched and get it adjusted. So what I ended up doing, you can just hold that open for a second. I have this slam panel, take this light out of the way, that I made, and it's adjusted in there. The corners ended up cutting and kind of hammering on to get them to fit a little bit better. So I got to get them dolled up before we're done. But I got this panel in here, and you can see how I have it set up. So what I was having problems is I was getting to the point where getting the latch to actually latch, shut and latch securely, and everything was flexing. So I put a little bottle jack under it, and that helped us. I got this piece in here. I changed the angle of it a little bit. I'm gonna brace it up some and add an extra hole to secure it. You can see I got this. I used the punch to get that hole punched really nicely and got the holes all set up. So that's kind of how they were from the factory. I think the latch went from underneath. And now, I think, hopefully it works, give it a light slam. There we go. It's latched, and it fits pretty nicely. This thing is not gapped at all, so don't anybody talk shit. So you can see like the deck lid, this is just common with any of these cars. The deck lid's tight in the center, and then a gap opens up at the bottom. We're going to address that after we get this thing to latch. But what we're showing here is that this, as far as my latch fabrication goes, this is sitting pretty flush when Steve latched it on both sides. So that's pretty good. We noticed that the deck lid, again with aftermarket deck lids, this is common. The shape is a little too, it's got too much crown in the center. Now I do have this deck lid just tack welded to the skin to be able to work with it. So it could be that this just needs to be pulled in with clamps before we hem the edge over. But the important thing is with it latched, everything's good. It's sitting pretty good here and tight. From here I can build some adjustment into it just with the stud, but I have to crawl into the car and show you guys. And Steve, if you want to open the latch.
Yep.
This is like first person here. All right. Until we get a cable in it, it's me. I am the latch release. So we can just pull this finger, but you guys watch the little spring. We got some tension. So now you can open it. So we got just a little spring pressure. It opens up, and we should be pretty good. So I'm going to get this slam panel all sitting level and even. I'm going to actually weld it into the car because it's going to help box the trunk area in. So we need to get all that metal cleaned up. So we're going to get it all level and sitting right and metal cleaned up so we can weld, and then we can spot weld it to the car. And then I'm going to make some little upright braces on either side of the latch there that will go to the floor, that will keep it from flexing, because that was the problem I was running into. I was trying to get this thing on my own to latch, and the piece was flexing so much it was not giving me a good reading. So with the bottle jack in there, now we see what's going on. So 2 braces should sort it up with the spot welding it in. So get it all cleaned up, get the braces made, and then we can start welding. All right, so I got the deck lid opening, shutting, latching, everything's bolted up. I welded some webbing or bracing into this bracket so it doesn't flex. I'll end up sanding it and getting it shaped up a little bit more so it doesn't look like raw cut edges. We got this panel all welded in place, bolted in. I spot welded the uprights in here and then down to the floor, so everything is very sturdy and doesn't flex. And now when you shut the trunk lid, it latches securely. I have to do some little, the skin is still loose here in the center from the inner structure. So the shape right in here doesn't quite match. It's common with reproduction deck lids too, that they don't quite match the rear panel. So I will need to address that when we actually, I'm gonna have to cut the skin off and and rust proof everything on the inside, then put it on and do the final hem and weld and all that stuff. So that's normal stuff, but right now it latches and fits pretty good, but I have to crawl into the trunk every time to get the latch to come open. So I have this, I dug through my stash and I have this old trunk release kit or handle that's very, very long, and I have the handle sitting here. So what we're thinking is I made metal glove boxes for this car, so they're actually out of, you know, sheet metal, and they're formed and they're pretty strong. So we're thinking of mounting with the little 4 bolts through the glove box and putting the, like, just little pan head screws down through so they don't protrude, and we can mount this thing just sticking out a little bit. I was thinking about using shoebox handles and knobs anyways, so this having the round little handle will flow with all of that. So we're gonna mount this up, get it cut the length, and then hopefully here at the end of the video we can show you latching the deck lid and opening it with our remote handle. So just a couple more modifications. Place, I'll hold it, maybe just tell me what looks from standing. If you have to, you can let the deck lid down a little bit. Don't latch it, just let it sit. My body was feeling it from freaking welding and crawling around in the trunk all day yesterday.
Yeah, doing the yoga.
Oh crap, this is peanut. Probably want it centered with the handle.
Centered with the handle?
That handle, unless we go closer, but I think for hiding the wire, or we go all the way over to this side, I can go like more like that.
You want to take a look at it from up here?
What do you think? I want opinions.
Yeah, try centering it under the handle there. The steering wheel's going to hide it. I think centering it under the handle would be a good place to go. If it's convenient to run the wire.
Yeah. The further in this way I go, the less convenient it is. So
okay. Yeah.
From center over is no big deal.
Yeah, I think centering it is good though.
Okay, so is that?
Turn the ball a little towards the driver's side. Tilt it. Twist it a little more. That is probably good right there.
And it's fairly centered.
Yep.
A little bit.
Yeah. See if it's close enough there.
I think on the final install we'll put it back one is here. Give it a try. Yep. All right, so we got our handle installed, and I'm going to try and move this handle here and see if Steve's going to make sure that our cable moves.
Oh yeah.
Good. Okay, cool. So we'll just cut that to length and fit it in, and then probably have to pull the screws out of the latch, because you got to remember you get that set screw. You got to
get
do.
up at the latch. Yep.
But I like how that looks, so it looks cool.
Thank you. Oh, which way is that supposed to pull?
It's supposed to pull towards the driver's side.
Oh, okay, there it goes. All right, try it again.
There it went.
Okay, yeah, I pulled it that time.
How's it
I think the cable's not returning again up there, I think.
Well, I can push it up.
Yeah.
Now it's returning.
Try pulling it again. All right, might have to make another adjustment here. Pull it tighter.
Like, what? There, I can pull it. Just
That is open now, and that's closed.
okay. I'm pushing it shut, but let me try again.
Yep, that's open.
It sounds like, it almost sounds like back there where the curve is. It's like, oh, put that up. That's another thing on top,
Yep, okay, yep.
because you had it going. It's try that. It might not, or let it sit on top of the bulb holder.
Yeah.
That'll be a more straight shot.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the same.
Here we go.
Moving, it's just.
Yeah, it's notchy.
Well, our cable we know here is a little binded.
Yeah.
So
And that will get better with time.
Oh, see, it's not. That's catching that up in your end. Could it be catching on something at the cable, like where the cable's coming through? Is it riding against our my metal? Like my metal uprights, is
Yeah.
the cable dragging against the back of it?
No, on this side the case is against it, and on this side I pulled it out from behind.
Oh, okay.
So, try it again. There we go.
Might just need the lube to show.
Yep. Yeah, I think we got it.
Move your hand. Let me just watch it.
Yep,
there.
just a second.
All right, let's see if the trunk works. Hey, that.
There we
Let's
go.
try one more time.
Yep. Got it.
Yep, that's latching good. And then let me just.
Yep.
Yeah, you can hear it unlatch.
Yep.
Perfect. I think once I gap this here, it might even pop the trunk
Yeah.
up a little bit. It's just that we're too tight, so you're not getting the.
Yep.
Should be.
You want it latched?
Yeah.
First, you almost need to carry a damn
See it? Yeah.
apron to put over them louvers if it starts raining.
Yeah, try opening it again.
Oh yeah.
I'll give it a slam. Good.
Nice.
I think once this, I think that's all. What's you got to slam it harder because you're
Yeah.
tight in here.
Yep.
So once I gap all this, it'll latch
It'll
nice.
work way better.
All right, so we got our trunk latching. We got a hinging before the video. We now have it latching and releasing, which is huge. I didn't fully know if we were going to get that done in this video, with things sometimes taking longer than expected, but we did pretty well, and we were able to get this all working. So now I have this thing latched as it is now, and you can walk up to this side here, little chrome lever, push on it, it releases. We can open our trunk. So huge progress. I got that brace all welded in now. There's probably a little more welding I'll do just to finish it up a little bit to get it just right. I need to trim this little gutter in the front here that I made when we made this tulip panel that is hitting a little bit when I open the trunk lid all the way. Just little stuff like that, but overall the fact that we can latch the trunk down and it's good and we can open it, it's gonna be my party trick for like the next like 2 weeks. So yeah, so huge progress on this thing. This is something I've been avoiding, the whole like trunk area of this car since basically we started the car, because it was really a mess. So now what I need to work on is, again, I mentioned it earlier, the trunk lid skin has a little bit of the wrong shape to it, so I'm going to need to adjust that. I need to pull the skin back off the inner structure, rust proof everything on the inside, put it back to the inner structure. But now that everything hinges, and I have some reference holes and marks, we can take it apart, put it back together, and we know everything will fit just as it does now. So once I get the deck lid skin on the inner structure for the final time, then what I could start doing is working on getting everything gapped on the edges here. The trunk working this well with how tight the gaps are in the center here is huge, because it's only going to get easier. I think the trunk release will actually pop. The spring will probably pump the trunk up a little bit once we actually have some gaps here, and it should work awesome. So really excited. I had this kind of in my head for a while, and it all kind of came together and worked out really, really well. So that's all I have for this one. Thank you guys for following along, and hopefully this is helpful for you if you're doing a shaved trunk lid handle on a Model A. Thanks guys. Catch you later.